Welcome back to the deep dive. You're here because you want the essential info, fast, no fluff.
That's the plan.
Today we're zeroing in on a specific spot, Chaweng on Koh Samui. Is it a smart move for Airbnb investment?
Yeah, we've got this blog post you shared. Looks pretty recent. It's all about Chaweng's potential for exactly that.
Right. So our mission today is to really unpack this, pull out the key stuff, the pros, cons, the ROI potential, market trends, all of it.
Basically help you figure out if Chaweng actually clicks with what you might be looking for in an investment. We'll hit the surprising facts, try and skip the overload.
Okay, let's get straight to it. The big question, is Chaweng really a strong contender for Airbnb investment? Now, this blog post we're looking at is from Ocean Worldwide. They're a luxury real estate agency based over in Phuket, been there since 2004. So, they've got some serious experience in this part of Thailand.
Right, that context is important. Sandra O'Neill, the director there, she's helped tons of investors and families. They really focus on that high-end residential market in Phuket and Koh Samui.
So their take is that there's significant demand for vacation rentals in Chaweng. They point to the lively atmosphere, the amazing beaches. Seems like the obvious stuff driving tourists.
It does sound good on the surface.
Yeah.
And look, Chaweng is popular. It's been a tourist hub for a while, so that suggests a steady stream of visitors.
But is it consistently strong demand across the board?
That's the key question, isn't it? Like, are occupancy rates solid all year round for condos and villas? And does it match up with, say, recent tourism stats for Samui, specifically pointing to Chaweng? Ocean Worldwide's perspective is valuable, but digging into those details, that's crucial.
Good point. Need that consistency. Okay, let's talk money, potential returns. The Ocean Worldwide post gives some pretty eye-catching ROI estimates.
Yeah, they break it down. Prime beachfront properties, they're suggesting maybe 6 to 10% ROI.
Wow, okay.
Then condos near the main drag, maybe 5 to 8%. And even villas a bit inland, they're saying 4 to 7% is possible.
Those are attractive numbers. But what's realistically driving that, especially the top end, that 6–10% for beachfront?
Well, it's probably a mix, isn't it? High nightly rates, definitely,
Mm-hmm.
but also potentially high occupancy, especially during peak season. And those prime properties, they likely have features. Maybe private pools, amazing views, top-notch service that justify the premium.
Right.
But a critical point is whether these are gross or net figures. Operating costs, management fees, maintenance, utilities, they eat into that profit significantly. You got to factor those in.
Absolutely. Need the net figure. The blog also mentions long-term value appreciation, suggests ongoing development in Samui, focus on quality construction.
Quality construction. That's a term worth exploring.
What does that actually mean in Koh Samui for an investor?
It likely means building to certain standards, using materials that can handle the heat and humidity.
Yeah.
Maybe specific developers have a reputation for it.
So less maintenance headache down the line, higher resale.
Potentially, yeah. You'd want to check the track record of developers, see if there's data showing those quality builds hold value better or cost less to maintain over time. It's not just a buzzword, hopefully.
Okay, shifting gears. Who's renting these places? The blog notes a trend, an increase in demand for luxury properties, especially ones with sea views.
Makes sense. That aligns with Ocean Worldwide's focus, too, that luxury market. A sea view always commands a premium.
But how much of a premium? And is that luxury demand really broad, or is it just for the super high-end villas?
Good question. Is there also strong demand for, say, a nice condo with a great view? Or is it only the massive villas pulling in the big bucks? And is this luxury boom a recent thing or a steady trend? That perspective from an agency like Ocean Worldwide, who deals in this daily, would be gold.
Location, location, location. The blog stresses beachfront and being close to amenities. No shocker there.
Standard advice, yeah.
But are there specific pockets within Chaweng that do better than others, like one end of the beach versus the other?
That's where local knowledge really pays off. Maybe one part of the beach has calmer water, better for swimming, or it's closer to the really good restaurants, not just any restaurant.
Or quieter, maybe.
Exactly. Maybe slightly away from the main party zone, but still walkable. Identifying those prime micro-locations, that's key. An agency like Ocean Worldwide, working in Phuket and Samui, they'd likely know those sweet spots.
Okay, so what is drawing the crowds? The blog mentions the nightlife, calls Chaweng a party hotspot.
Yep, definitely a major draw for a certain crowd. Think younger travelers, people looking for bars, clubs, that social buzz.
But does that put off other groups? Families, maybe?
It absolutely could. If your villa is right next to a booming nightclub, families or couples wanting peace and quiet might look elsewhere. So As an investor, you got to know who you're aiming for. Are you leaning into the party scene or trying to appeal more broadly?
Right, target audience.
Hmm.
Beyond the nightlife, there are the beaches. Chaweng Beach itself is apparently long, sandy, good for families. And then Chiang Noi is quieter, plus Lamai nearby is another option. How much does that beach variety matter?
It matters a lot. It broadens the appeal. Families might want the main beach access. Couples might prefer Chongqing Noi's seclusion. Someone else might like Lamai's vibe. Offering different experiences is a plus.
So you tailor your marketing based on which beach you're near.
Precisely. Highlight the specific benefits for your ideal guest.
It's not all parties and beaches, though. The blog mentions cultural stuff, too. Temples, cooking classes.
Yeah, adds another layer.
How big a draw is that, realistically, for the average Chaweng tourist?
Maybe not the main reason they come, but it enhances the stay, right? Gives people more to do, makes the trip more memorable. Investors can leverage that, leave info, suggest tours. It shows you offer more than just a bed. Could lead to better reviews, repeat guests.
Okay, sounds good, but let's talk challenges. Every investment has risks. Seasonality is a big one mentioned in the Ocean Worldwide piece. Peak season, December to March.
Yeah, that's a huge factor in Samui. The difference between high season and low season can be dramatic.
Yeah.
Occupancy drops, rates drop.
So how do you manage that?
You have to budget for it. Expect lower income in the off-season, maybe build up a reserve. Some owners get creative with pricing lower rates to attract longer stays or different types of travelers during the quieter months. You need realistic year-round projections.
Another issue, overcrowding. Chaweng's popular, but the blog says that can be a downside, potentially putting people off.
It's a double-edged sword of popularity, isn't it?
Oh,
Loads of tourists mean demand, but too many can spoil the vibe, strain resources.
is it, like, really bad? Are people complaining?
It probably depends on the exact time of year and where you are in Chaweng. The absolute center might feel hectic. Maybe investors look slightly further out, offer a bit of an escape, but still convenient. Checking recent guest reviews for mentions of crowding could be insightful.
And then, the big one, regulations. Ocean Worldwide really stresses understanding Thai property laws, rental rules, strongly suggests getting legal advice.
Absolutely non-negotiable,
Right.
especially for foreign investors.
Can you give us a sense of the key areas? What should people be most aware of?
Well, first, how foreigners can actually own property, often it's leasehold, or through a Thai company. Direct freehold ownership of land is generally restricted. Then there are specific rules. For short-term rentals, licenses might be needed, taxes paid. It's complex.
So lawyer up, basically.
Definitely. A local lawyer specializing in property and business law is essential. Don't try to navigate that alone.
Okay, more financials, cost of living. The blog says it can be high in Chaweng, particularly utilities, imported stuff.
Yeah, something to factor into your running costs. Electricity for aircon, water, maybe needing to buy certain things for the property that cost more locally. It all adds up.
So research average utility bills, maybe find local suppliers where possible.
Exactly. Get realistic numbers for your monthly expenses to calculate that net return we talked about. Don't just guess.
Financing is another hurdle mentioned. Getting a mortgage as a foreigner in Thailand isn't always easy.
True. Local banks might have options, but often require a significant down payment, maybe proof of income in Thailand. International lenders could be another route.
What should you watch out for?
Interest rates can be higher than you're used to. Repayment terms might be different. And, as the blog notes, currency fluctuations are a big deal. If the exchange rate moves against you, your loan payments or your rental income in your home currency can change dramatically.
Definitely need to consider that risk. And taxes, of course. Property tax, income tax on rent, anything else.
There could be others, maybe withholding tax if you're taking rental income out of Thailand. Local taxes or fees. Again, this is where professional advice is key. A good tax advisor specializing in Thai property is worth their weight in gold.
Right. Getting specific on rentals, Ocean Worldwide gives some price ranges, like 30, 60 pounds a night for studios, 50 pound and 100 pounds for condos, 150 pounds for villas, big ranges.
Yeah, they're just ballpark figures, obviously depend heavily on the specifics, location, size, pool view, condition, time of year.
So how do you use those? Just a rough guide.
Pretty much. You need to do your own homework. Look at comparable Airbnb listings, really comparable ones in your specific bit of Chaweng. See what they actually charge, night by night, season by season. Check their calendars, see how booked up they are. That's how you price effectively.
Makes sense. Occupancy rates. We know they vary by season. The blog also mentions future developments, infrastructure upgrades, sustainable building. Are those positive signs?
Generally, yes. Better roads or utilities make the area more attractive. Sustainable building might appeal to a growing niche of eco-conscious travelers, maybe letting you charge a bit more if you have eco features.
But you need to know the specifics, right? Where are these improvements happening?
Exactly. And how might they impact your potential property? Construction noise nearby short-term, better access long-term. Stay informed about local plans.
What about the day-to-day stuff for guests? Amenities? The blog highlights lots of dining, shopping, healthcare nearby, like Bangkok Hospital, Samui. How crucial is that?
Very crucial. Convenience is key for tourists. Knowing they can easily find food for any budget, pick up essentials, and access good healthcare if needed. That's a big peace of mind factor. It makes Chaweng feel easy and safe to stay in.
So who are these guests? The blog suggests targeting families, couples, solo travelers. Seems broad.
It is broad, which
Yeah.
reflects Chaweng's wide appeal. But as an investor, you probably want to narrow it down.
How so? How do you tailor?
Well, if you're aiming for families, you provide things like high chairs, maybe bunk beds, info on kid-friendly stuff nearby. Your listing highlights space and safety.
Okay, and for couples?
Maybe focus on privacy, a nice balcony view, maybe offer a romance package add-on, highlight quiet restaurants or sunset spots.
Solo travelers?
They often want smaller, affordable, secure places. Good Wi-Fi is usually vital. Maybe info on tours they can join, easy transport access. Your marketing message needs to resonate with your specific ideal guest.
Makes sense. Let's compare quickly. The Ocean Worldwide blog contrasts Chaweng with Lamai, more laid back, cheaper. Beaufort charming, bit more relaxed. Mainam, quiet, authentic, less developed.
Yeah, that comparison is super helpful. Each area offers a different flavor of Samui.
So if you're investing, you need to think about which vibe suits your goals.
Absolutely. Lamai might offer lower entry prices, but maybe attract more budget travelers. Beaufort could be good for longer stays, maybe expats. Mainam for those really wanting to get away from it all. Chaweng is the high-energy, amenities-rich option. Knowing the pros, cons, and target audience for each helps you choose where to focus your search. Ocean Worldwide's experience across these areas is definitely valuable context.
Okay, last main point. Property types. Condos, villas, guest houses. The blog touches on pros and cons. Condos easier to manage, villas higher end.
Right. Condos can be a good starting point, maybe lower maintenance if there's good building management. Villas obviously command higher rents, appeal to groups, but come with more upkeep, like pools and gardens.
Guest houses.
More hands-on. Like running a small hotel, really. Can be steady income, but location is absolutely critical, and it's a bigger commitment.
Does Ocean Worldwide's experience, focusing on luxury, suggest villas are the prime target in Chaweng?
Given their focus on luxury residential in Phuket and Samui, they likely see strong performance from high-quality villas, especially those with pools and views in areas like Chaweng. But condos in prime spots near the beach can also do very well. And remember, the legal side might differ slightly depending on property type, too.
Okay, let's wrap this up. So the takeaway seems to be Chaweng, as seen through the lens of this Ocean Worldwide piece, definitely has strong potential for Airbnb investors. Popularity, potential for good returns.
For sure, but it's not a slam dunk. You've got the seasonality challenge, the potential for overcrowding impacting guest experience, and navigating those Thai regulations is crucial.
Requires real homework, careful planning, understanding the local market, the costs, the laws. Due diligence is key.
Exactly. The insights from an experienced agency like Ocean Worldwide are a great starting point, highlighting both the opportunities in Phuket and Koh Samui and the factors to watch out for. But you have to do your own digging, too.
All right, so here's a final thought to leave you with. If you are thinking about investing in Chaweng's Airbnb market, yes, look at the numbers, the ROI, but maybe also ask yourself, who do I actually want to host? What kind of holiday experience do I want to help create?
Good point.
Because in a place as busy and dynamic as Chaweng, figuring that out, aligning your property and your service with a specific type of guest, that might be the real key to not just making money, but actually succeeding and standing out long term.
Well said. It's about finding your niche.
Thanks for diving deep with us today.